Have you ever shared good news with someone? Now, maybe it was just something you enjoyed or maybe something you were proud of, but you were met with indifference, sarcasm, maybe even scorn. Or maybe you sense that they become icy and withdrawn whenever you try to share happy moments. In fact, your good mood seems to trigger an unsettling negativity in them. Well, that person is narcissistic, you're not imagining it. Because that happiness, that energy you have in those moments, well, that can have a narcissist feel as if they've just been torpedoed. I'm Darren Magee, and today's topic is looking at why narcissists show disdain, experience discomfort, and generally react negatively to other people's joy and positivity. Because understanding what they're doing and why they do it can help protect your energy, sometimes even your sanity. Because to begin with, in any kind of environment or relationship with a narcissistic person, if your good news is constantly being met with coldness, anger, sarcasm, even maybe complaints about how crap things are for them, well, over a period of time, you might begin to question yourself. You might start wondering, am I really making too big a deal of this, or was I being insensitive? Am I just deluding myself? Well, the short answer is no, you're not. Think of it like this. It's like someone angrily accusing you of enjoying some ice cream. The problem isn't you for feeling good. It's the narcissistic person's struggle to deal with it. Because at their core, narcissistic people have this false, deluded, and often overinflated self-image. They believe that they're special, superior, and entitled, but with little to nothing to back any of that up. And the high level of attention, adulation, or special treatment they demand is usually undeserved. And when they see other people doing well, feeling good, well, not only can that highlight their own inner emptiness, in some cases it can feel like a direct attack on that false image they have carefully created for themselves. Narcissists generally don't have a solid or realistic grasp of their own worth, never mind anyone else's. They don't really have a solid grasp of reality either. And they lack humility, empathy. They tend to think in all or nothing terms, and they can struggle with concepts like good enough. They don't recognize that other people's little wins in life don't have to take anything away from them. Their overconfidence, their arrogance, sometimes even their resentment, tends to hide deep-seated insecurities. So if they see you radiating any kind of positivity, even just contentment, that has nothing to do with them, they can feel threatened. In some cases, it shows them what they're actually missing in life. But rather than sharing your good news, they'll try to take it from you. Because quite commonly with narcissism, everything's a competition. So the better you feel, the more inadequate and small they might feel. And this can bring up intense discomfort and quite often resentment. So they might not see your success as inspiring or something to share in, but either as a personal failure on their part, or maybe something you're doing deliberately to hurt them. Which is why their pointing out you're feeling good can sometimes sound like an accusation. Secondly, narcissists don't really see relationships as equal partnerships, but rather something they have to be at the top of, something they have to be in control of. So your independence, your competency, even your ability to find joy without their approval, well, that can threaten their fantasy of superiority and their need for dominance. So they'll criticize, diminish, or belittle your achievements just to try to regain a sense of superiority. And many times they can be self-defeating and petty. Now, an example I often think of was a place I worked in many years ago. There was this manager, and he would angrily accuse members of staff for thinking they were brilliant anytime a customer thanked them for doing a good job. Like, he maybe didn't want them to have any pride in their work or any sense of accomplishment. In their personal relationships, well, they want to be the center of the universe, and they need your constant attention. So your other interests and passions might actually remind them that they need you more than you need them. Because narcissism cannot function without enablers, whether willing or otherwise. They need you to believe that they're more important and more deserving than you or anyone else. And they'll feed off your attention, your reactions, whether positive or negative. The manager I mentioned a moment ago, Yes, he would moan if staff members got praise, but he would also moan if there were any complaints. Like, what did he want everyone to do? Struggle to be mundane and mediocre? But even in their personal relationships, a narcissist will attack your positivity, but they will also criticize you for feeling miserable. Either way, this keeps them in control, feeling superior, and feeding off your reactions. Moving on, narcissists don't like to share the spotlight. They don't think you should have any room for anything or anyone else in your life, not even your own interests. So any time you spend on your own goals, your own passions, well, to a narcissist, you're not paying attention to them. Also, the more content you are, the more confident you are, the less chance you'll put up with their selfish and their demeaning behaviour. Which is why they'll sometimes behave as if your confidence is an act of betrayal. They might begin to experience what's known as a narcissistic collapse, and this can trigger anger, anxiety, or a low mood, and they will do whatever they can to try to pull you back into a space where you're controllable and subservient to them and their needs. Now, this typically involves sulking, ridiculing, minimizing, or finding issues with your mood or your behaviour. But they will also attack the things that you're interested in, the things that make you happy. Next, there's pathological envy. Now, envy is one of the diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. There's being envious of others or believing others are envious of them. But it's not the kind of envy that can inspire someone to do better or to try harder. Rather, it's a toxic, resentful envy. They can't celebrate other people's successes because they might feel as if something has been taken from them. They can feel small, cheated, and bitter. In their minds, you don't deserve success. They do. Your happiness, your success, your achievements, it's like that's taking something from them, something that they believe is theirs by right. You don't deserve it. They do. When they see your sense of achievement, they might just claim that you're rubbing their nose in it. And this can lead them to become resentful and vindictive, which can result in devaluing your accomplishments or even engaging in sabotaging behaviours. Lastly, with malignant narcissism, we typically see, among other things, traits of psychopathy and sadism as well. So if you're dealing with a malignant narcissist, well, they might just enjoy your misery. They get a twisted, sadistic sense of pleasure and satisfaction from your pain and your disappointment. At a low level, they might just make fun of your efforts, make fun of your hobbies publicly, and try to embarrass you in front of others, while pretending it's just playful banter. But they can also attack, sometimes even destroy the things that you enjoy, the things you hold dear, just to keep you miserable. Sometimes, look closely, you might just see a flash of excitement on their face whenever they do or say something that causes you distress. So to summarise, the reasons narcissists react so negatively to other people's joy are all tangled up in their own deep-seated insecurities, their desperate need for control, and their flat-out inability to feel or celebrate genuine joy for other people. They don't see your energy, your positivity, your inner light as something beautiful to celebrate or even share in, but more as a threat to their sense of superiority. It's something that might show up their own flaws, their own emptiness, and this can threaten their fantasy version of themselves. But I'm going to leave you with one last thought. You don't need anyone's permission to like ice cream. You don't need a narcissist's approval. Now, if any of this has resonated with you, there's anything you might like to add, anything I may have missed, please use the comment section because there are some interesting conversations started from these videos. Next time, I'm going to be looking at the subtle and sometimes not so subtle ways that they steal your joy. Because like I say, when you know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they're doing it, it is easier to keep yourself sane. But in the meantime, if you find this topic to be helpful or interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.